and order, and is also essential for financial. The fight against corruption must be won. Our government intends to wage this fight and demonstrate its commitment to zero tolerance to corruption by making all public servants accountable and submit to the oversight of Parliament and other constitutionally mandated institutions. We are committed to the rule of law, fidelity to constitutional due process, and implementation of judicial decrees and orders. Most critically, under my administration, there shall be no interference with or any attempt to control, direct, or undermine independent institutions, including those in the justice, law, and order sector. The National Police Service, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Judiciary, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission shall perform their duties independently and professionally, and likewise subject themselves to oversight by appropriate agencies. This is our vision for ensuring that the war on corruption is not itself corrupted by inappropriate interventions. Ladies and gentlemen, our socio-economic transformation to be truly inclusive, we must empower all Kenyans, regardless of background, to effectively play their part by contributing to national building efforts and partaking of the dividends of shared prosperity. High quality and relevant education is vital in imparting the necessary skills and competencies to our learners from pre-primary to tertiary levels in order to enable citizens engage meaningfully with the world of the present and the world of the future. A week ago, we launched the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms to review all aspects of education in Kenya. Its findings and recommendations shall inform subsequent necessary interventions to ensure that Kenya delivers the caliber of education, skills, and training needed to successfully pursue sustainable development. As we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we are equally concerned about climate change and its impact on Kenya generally and our arid and semi-arid regions in particular. We will address the effects of this phenomenon as its ravaging effects at home and abroad. Our pastoralist communities have experienced scarcity of pasture due to prolonged drought, the worst in 40 years, and 3 years of absolute rain failure. As a result, we have lost 2.5 million heads of livestock owing to this very severe drought. Rising food prices have made an already bad situation worse. Elsewhere, communities in rural and urban areas across the country are equally struggling under the weight of high food prices and shortage of water. Without a doubt, climate change is complicating our roadmap towards socio-economic transformation and achievement of sustainable development goals. As we seek short-term measures to respond to the evolving situation, I have directed that a long-term and sustainable solution to the planetary challenges be put in place. The ultimate solution includes greening our country to more than 30% of tree cover by 2032. The central role forests play in addressing the effects of climate change has become more prominent now than ever, thanks to their unparalleled capacity to absorb, store carbon, and regulate climate. Of the 59.2 million hectares land in Kenya, only 5.2 hectares are under forest cover. The remaining 54 million hectares are largely in arid and semi-arid areas. The 10 counties with the highest forest cover are Nyeri, Lamu, Vihiga, Kirinyaga, Elgeyo Marakwet, Meru, Embu, Murang'a, Kilifi, and Nyandarua. On the reverse, The 10 counties with the lowest tree cover are Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir, Isiolo, Siaya, Migori, Busia, Machakos, Taita Taveta, and Uasin Gishu. I call upon the Council of Governors to facilitate more discussion to achieve parity in tree cover by using peer-to-peer learning and exchange of information. The government will champion the transformation of forestry and rangeland restoration to support the greening of Kenya so as to combat climate change. We are at the final stages of designing a special presidential forestry and rangeland restoration program. This effort is spearheaded by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, various experts and partners in government, UN organizations, NGOs, and the academia. The objective is to grow 5 billion trees in the next 5 years and an additional 10 billion trees by 2032. This will eventually lead to the rehabilitation and restoration of 10 million hectares in our 290 constituencies, as well as some specially selected ecosystems and water towers threatened by degradation and destruction. To achieve this ambitious plan, the government will continue to support efforts by the Kenya Forestry Research Institute, KEFRI, in high-quality seed production in their 18 seed centers across the country. Agroforestry and farming of avocados, mangoes, and macadamia will also open new value chains for our export market, creating green jobs in those sectors. I therefore urge all Kenyans to support this government's call to grow at least 15 billion trees in 10 years. To achieve this target, simple calculation shows that every Kenyan needs to grow at least 300 trees. The 50 million of us, we will be able to grow 15 billion trees. And I will tell the ministry concerned, the Ministry of Environment, to issue a small certificate for every Kenyan who completes his round of 300 trees. Restoration in the presidential program will be undertaken by youth and women groups, civil society, communities, and religious organizations, leveraging on private sector and government financing. To ensure sustainable funding, Kenya is developing policies and strategies to tap into the global carbon market opportunities accessed through carbon trading. Additionally, the government will secure and protect public forests, rehabilitate and restore all degraded water towers and other forest ecosystems across the country. We will work towards fencing all fragile water towers and other ecosystems to protect them from encroachment. To resolve the capacity constraints at the Kenya Forest Service, I have directed the immediate recruitment of an additional 2,700 forest rangers and 600 forest officers to augment our interventions in this sector. Shortly, I will also be inaugurating the Climate Change Council that will steer Kenya's climate action through stakeholder engagement coordinated in the presidency as required by the Climate Change Act of 2016. Under the program, we will start mobilizing finance from public and private, including multilateral sources, to fund the proposed activities. This is anchored on the United Nations goals and backed by the Tree Growing and Sustainable Forest Finance Management Program, supported by UN and other international institutions. The program also responds to Kenya's commitment to help reduce global greenhouse gas emissions articulated in various multilateral environmental agreements and the United Nations Decade of Action on Ecosystem Restoration. Kenya will rally the globe towards more ambitious climate change action in next month's 27th UN Climate Change Conference at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. In an increasingly interconnected world, ladies and gentlemen, our well-being depends on engagements with our neighbors, continental fraternity, and international partnerships. In all these areas, Kenya has continued to be a dependable ally, faithful friend, and effective partner, ever committed to a win-win bilateral as well as multilateral outcomes that achieve mutual gain for the benefit of humanity. In the East African community, the rigid territorial borders are firmly on their way out as we move towards full integration. Non-tariff barriers have come down and trade volumes are soaring. The community is becoming even more tightly connected with infrastructure systems crisscrossing the member countries. The possibility of an East African Federation is no longer a wild imagination or an idle dream. It is no longer a matter of if, it is a matter of when. In recent days, I have been to our sister countries in East Africa to take care of mutually beneficial regional business. In Ethiopia, we launched Safaricom Ethiopia Telecom's money business, which expanded Safaricom and M-Pesa regionally, and their footprint dispersing ICT innovation and deepening the revenue base of our company. Simultaneously, Safaricom becomes the largest foreign investor in Ethiopia and Kenya's biggest foreign investor abroad ever. The East African community has become a close-knit neighborhood, and everyone's well-being has become everybody's business. With this unity and integration, we will achieve much in our lifetime, and with these bonds of solidarity and fraternity, we shall establish an oasis of hope and infinite possibility that will be irresistible to the rest of the world. In the Horn of Africa, peace and security efforts continue to dominate our engagement. They are important components of a broader strategy to recover stability in what has become a truly rough neighborhood. Countering violent extremism, controlling the illegal movement of small arms, peace building, and peacekeeping initiatives will continue to dominate our future agenda. The conflict in Tigray region of Ethiopia, which according to reports from the Office of the United Nations Secretary General is escalating, is a great source of concern to our region. Kenya will continue to play its role by making such contributions as is required by the Africa Union-sponsored mediation efforts. The sooner hostilities cease and a face-to-face talks commence, the better for our region. The region is experiencing its 5th season of severely low rain due to climate change. As a result, mitigation strategies, resilience building initiatives, and climate change management programs have become urgent. The pressure on the capacity of regional states has never been greater. On the continental stage, we have sustained our Pan-African credentials since the dawn of Africa unity. That is why various frameworks of the African Union find expression in our domestic agenda. The AU's Agenda 2063, for example, is part of our economic development plan. Kenya is committed to the pursuit of trade-driven Pan-Africanism as the best means of rapidly delivering shared prosperity throughout our continent. As we open up our borders and expand the scope of collaboration beyond traditional economic blocs, the reality of a continental free market has become real. Kenya is a champion of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Beyond ratifying the instruments, establishing it and domesticating its framework, Kenya has been a consistent participant in efforts to make this continental agreement a reality. We see this as a pathway that guarantees inclusive African economic growth and sustainable self-reliance. In turn, this will hasten our continent's post-pandemic recovery, enhance climate change resilience, and underpin stability in the face of multiple regional and global crises, including energy volatility. Our implementation strategy envisions Pan-African free trade as a vehicle for empowering small and medium enterprises. To signal this commitment, I recently flagged off a symbolic consignment of Ketepa tea to Ghana under the Guided Trading Initiative. Trade between Ghana and Kenya is off to an admirable start, and several farms and traders in the two countries have undertaken brisk business involving exports of incinerators, sisal fiber, leather bags, fuel filters, beadworks, and baskets from our Juakali artisans. This points to the huge potential of trade across our continent. And the Africa Continental Free Trade Area is the framework and the mechanism for us to actualize this market. Beyond our continent, Kenya continues to pursue a robust policy of economic diplomacy. We are continuously aligning our strategic interests with the welfare of our people. Therefore, we are focused on finding opportunities for our people and deeper trade relations around the globe. We are receiving encouraging returns on our efforts. This week, our international port of Lamu scored a shining first with the export of livestock from northern Kenya to the Sultanate of Oman. This signals the opening up of tremendous opportunities for the pastoralists in our rangeland communities who deserve relief from the devastating losses of the ravaging drought. We also remain devoted to our strategic engagements with key development partners like the United States, which is now Kenya's premier trading partner, as well as the United Kingdom, which for a long time has held that position, the European Union, Middle Eastern nations, the Far East, including China and Japan, and indeed many other players in the world. Kenya's diplomacy is deliberately shifting into emerging opportunities. We are prepared to exploit the potential of the blue economy and the fast evolving digital universe to position our young generation as competitive global players. Kenya's commitment to multilateralism is a fundamental plank of our diplomatic strategy and foreign policy. This has defined our international outlook since the advent of self-government and full sovereignty. We have hosted several multilateral institutions and aspire to receive more. Kenya has participated in many multilateral undertakings, including humanitarian missions, international peacekeeping, and pandemic responses. We join other nations of the global south to advocate the democratization of global governance and to invest the multilateral system with higher moral imagination. We believe that global governance must reflect the values it claims to advance and protect. To effectively drive our diplomacy and international engagement, Kenya has unified and clarified its policy in our Vision 2030 and our government's 5-pillar plan to socio-economic transformation, the 5th East African Community Development Strategy, AU Agenda 2063, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. The purpose of this alignment is to ensure that we forge a path for the achievement of our objectives of enhancing the well-being of ourselves and humanity. We have warned the international community about the global fertilizer shortage and the risk it poses to global food security. Whether we are speaking at the United Nations Environmental Programme in Nairobi or the UN Oceans Conference in Lisbon, our commitment to enhancing climate change responses is strong and vocal. Kenya advocates post-pandemic solidarity on a global scale to avert economic crisis in the wake of COVID-19 by mobilizing international partnerships and cooperation for recovery and resilience. This extends to the need to ease the debt burden of economically vulnerable developing countries and to afford them liquidity and fiscal space to manage shocks, enhance social investments, invest in climate change adaptation and mitigation, and address security needs and finance development. As an anchor state in the East Africa and the Horn, Kenya has sustained its robust efforts to achieve lasting peace and security. We have also used the opportunity to serve at the UN Security Council to give priority to regional peace, counter-terrorism, and violent extremism, support peace operations, and to further the climate change and security agenda. We consider these contributions to be critical in building a safe and peaceful world that is safe and conducive for human flourishing. Government efforts to affirm and project Kenya's stature globally has always been complemented by the contribution of Kenyan citizens who live and work in various parts of the world. This demonstrates the complementarity of state and citizen action and the inevitable alignment between patriotism and national well-being. We are all united in the quest for a Kenya we can all be proud to call home. Our diaspora continues to serve as Kenya's excellent ambassadors, along with our sports people and the Kenyans who continue to excel abroad in diverse fields. You make us proud, and in so doing, demonstrate the true spirit of Mashujaa. Kenya is a good neighbor, true friend, loyal ally, dependable partner, and hardworking member of the international community. We live up to its strong value system, fluently articulating the ideas of compassion, solidarity, justice, freedom, and sovereignty. As a nation, we project and amplify values and principles familiar to each one of us and which form the heart of our constitutional system. Greater fidelity to the Constitution and better compliance with its mandates and principles will only make us better citizens and worthy compatriots. It will make Kenya a stronger nation too. We therefore have a duty to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution. The nation-building enterprise enlists citizens to recognize their stake in making and keeping Kenya great. Patriotism is a bottom-up affair. We are called upon to stand firmly on our values and strengths, and also strengthen our resolve to wage war on poverty and inequality by pursuing inclusive growth. Our aim is to remove all obstacles and bring down every barrier to progress. By celebrating our values, we honor our heroes, and every act of nation building is an expression of these values and a most appropriate remembrance of those who began our journey towards sovereignty, freedom, and happiness. This is a time for action. the opportunity to contribute to this historic project are limitless. It is time for us as citizens to play our part in making Kenya, the Kenya we imagine, come true, and to turn the nation we dream of into a living and a lived experience. This moment calls for the exercise of all our abilities, talents, gifts, skills, and strengths in pursuit of national as well as personal self-actualization. It demands that we demonstrate the patriotism of a new age and express the timeless values which unite us with our heroes and heroines. We are endowed with far greater capacity today than ever in our history to pursue and accomplish major feats. Our predecessors, with far modest means, nevertheless scored monumental triumphs. There is absolutely no ceiling to our dreams, no limit to our determination, and no barrier to our collective power. Nothing stops us from becoming what we wish to be, and nothing can stand in the way of our resolve to drive Kenya to its destiny of glory and abundance. I stand here, therefore, on this sacred ground, where we first raised our proud flag at the dawn of freedom, where we made a covenant to honor their glorious triumph and fine example by embracing their values and serving our nation, to rally every Kenyan to rise up. This is our moment to get up, work hard, take our chance, chase our dreams, knock on doors, and explore possibilities, because the horizon of our destiny is draped in the splendor of our vision, and before us lies potential of a magnitude never before imagined. It is all ours for the taking, and I know we are ready, for it is our time. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Mashujaa. May our heroes continue to inspire us, and may our national values ever remain the true north of our moral compass. God bless you, and God bless our great country, Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Nitaomba wale wengine viongozi wote tuwe watulivu ili tuweze kuelekezwa katika itifaki ya kuondoka. Niombe tubaki kwenye jukwaa hadi tutakapoitwa na kuweza kuteremka ili tuweze kuhifadhi itifaki hiyo. Let us observe the exit protocol. Niombe sasa magari ya msafara wa Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari William Ruto na Mama Taifa uweze kujiongea tafadhali. Na wale wengine tuwe watiifu, tusubiri tafadhali hadi niwalete. Baada ya Mheshimiwa Rais kuondoka akisindikishwa na mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi ya Kenya, atafuata msafara wa Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais. Na tuombe tu utiifu wenu ili tuweze kuhifadhi itifaki. Ataondoka sasa Mheshimiwa Daktari William Samoei Ruto, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na Amiri Jeshi Mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi, pamoja na Mama Taifa Mheshimiwa Rachel Ruto. Wanasindikishwa na mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi Jenerali Robert Kibochi. Na baada ya msafara wa Mheshimiwa Rais kuondoka, utafuata msafara wa Naibu wa Rais pamoja na Pastor Dorcas Rigathi. Wale wengine tuendelee kuwa watulivu. Baada ya gari la Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais kuondoka, service commanders, wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali watafuata. Kwa hivyo sasa tumpongeze anapoondoka Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari William Ruto baada ya kutuongoza katika sherehe ya leo. Msafara huo ukishaondoka, Mheshimiwa Rais, utafuatwa na msafara wa Naibu wa Rais Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua na Mheshimiwa Pastor Dorcas Rigathi. Tulete magari ya Mheshimiwa Naibu Rais. Baada ya Naibu wa Rais kuondoka kama nilivyotaja, watafuata wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali, kisha Spika wa Bunge la Kitaifa, Spika wa Bunge la Seneti, Jaji Mkuu. Tulete msafara sasa wa magari ya Naibu wa Rais tafadhali. Msafara wa magari ya Naibu wa Rais Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua na Mheshimiwa Pastor Dorcas Rigathi. Na niombe tu utulivu huo ili tuweze kuhifadhi itifaki hizo pasina msongamano. May we now allow the entourage the convoy for His Excellency the Deputy President kindly. Magari ya msafara wa Naibu wa Rais tafadhali yajongee, kisha gari la mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi atafuatwa na wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali. Shukran. Unafuata sasa msafara wa Naibu wa Rais. Asante sana. Thank you so much, Your Excellency the Deputy President and Her Excellency Dr. Pastor Dorcas Rigathi. Baada ya Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais kuondoka, nitampisha sasa mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi. Msafara wa magari ya mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi ukifuatwa na wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali tafadhali ufuate. Asante sana. Anaondoka sasa Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais. Shukran. Niombe sasa msafara wa mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi uweze kuingia pamoja na wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali. Spika wa Bunge la Kitaifa, Spika wa Bunge la Seneti. Wanaondoka sasa mkuu wa majeshi ya ulinzi Jenerali Robert Kibochi pamoja na wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali. There's Chief of Defense and the service commanders. Thank you CDF and the service commanders. Niombe sasa tulete magari ya spika wa bunge la kitaifa, spika wa bunge la seneti na jaji mkuu. Baada ya wakuu wa vikosi mbalimbali kuondoka,
well, it has been the 12th Mashujaa Day celebrations. We have been coming to you live from the Uhuru Gardens in Lang'ata, the county of Nairobi. It has been a colorful event which has been graced by a section of ladies, and thousands of Kenyans have also turned up in numbers. But now let's get the reactions. From the people who are able to attend this event to tell us their views in regards to the speech that has been made by the president and also other leaders who have graced this event. Tell us your name, and I would like to hear from you. What is your take from what the president has said, especially when it comes to improving the forest cover?
Okay, for me, my name is Mary Kubai. For me, what I took home is we still need to work hard. We are still not out of the woods. We've got a lot to do. Especially, I took also from the SMEs, small and medium enterprises. It's us to come together as Kenyans. No matter how small your business is or what you're doing, be a Mashujaa in that area. Do your best to make it better so that our country can go to the next level. So he was just saying, yes, our forefathers have laid a foundation. No matter agriculture, name it, we still have to work hard as Kenyans. Let's build our sleeves and work hard to jenge nchi yetu. Amen.
Yeah, he has also talked about us planting trees and ensuring that we protect our environment. He has really placed a huge support in protecting the forest cover in the country. What is your take in regards to that?
Okay, it's true, our climate change, there's a lot of climate change, not only in Kenya but around the world. So planting trees is one thing. So with trees it draws out rain and water. So we need a lot of water and rain to improve our agriculture sector. Right now there's drought and food shortages, especially in Turkana. So with this, what he has advised us, I think it's the best idea. We should follow him. He's very good at agriculture, so let's follow. Listen to what he said and let's hold hands and be together with his vision of the same. Yeah.
You are a daughter to one of the heroes of this country. What do you think should be done to support your initiatives towards uniting the country?
Okay. As my father, Fred Kubai, he really liked building and improving areas no matter where he was. My take is just hard work. No matter where you are, under a boss or whoever you're under, just work as you. Like they always say in the Swahili, cheza kama wewe Mkenya, do your best. So my dad used to say nothing but the best. Work, go for it. work hard, and who knows, you see changes coming up. You'll change not only your environment, your community, but you will change Kenya as a whole. Start from where you are, start from your house, start from your community, then go out. I think that's where the Kenya will change. Yeah.
On this day, we normally have the heroes being feted by the government. Do you think it's doing it the right way, or do you think there is a procedure they should do to consider each and every Kenyan, or a certain group of people that you think they've been left out?
Okay, vetting is also the part of your wealth amount.
No, acknowledging the efforts done, like awarding, giving them.
Oh, yeah, okay. Awarding is the best thing. You should award those who deserve it. Like you in your docket, it's good when you've done something good. It's good to reward. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That is one of the attendants to this event, a daughter to one of the heroes in the country. I do understand that Kioria is on standby with a number of legislators from the other end. Kioria, good afternoon, and over to you.
In other countries, beneficiaries, call out the people who are enabling this thing, because in a whole situation there's no way these people will just be walking around killing people, having guns, and no one is responsible. So we will take up this responsibility. I will bring a law in parliament that is going to enhance the law, the penal code, that is able to punish these people properly, and then so that we act as an adherence that in the future you cannot just walk away. Even after stealing and maiming people because of bandits.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Happy Mashujaa.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Mashujaa, the Member of Parliament, Baringo County, woman representative representing Baringo County, also speaking about, the commitment by President Dr. William Ruto in terms of ending acts of insecurity. You're looking at banditry and terrorism, largely reported in the north of the country. You're looking at the northeastern and the other part of the northern end of the country, Turkana, Pokot, as well as Baringo. Incidents of insecurity reported there, and the president saying these are incidents that must be put to an end, and that means also that the investigative agencies, as well as the director of criminal investigations and the National Police Service, for that matter, must get to the bottom of it and ensure that these cases are brought to an end. But of course, also the president has spoken about the issues of corruption, the fight against corruption, and saying all investigative agencies will be independent. Obviously, by the stroke of a pen, you will remember that President William Ruto, on the first day of office, ensured that the budget of Inspector General is completely independent of the office of the president, and that means then that there is autonomy in the sense of expenditure for the office of Inspector General, so that they are able to do their job expeditiously and independently, and the president believes that's how the war against corruption will be won. The aspect of climate change is something he's been very keen on, and you remember just about last week when he was launching the Thiba Dam in Kirinyaga County, his direction that every individual in the country ensures that he plants 100 trees to ensure that Kenya is green. Of course, it's listed counties that have at least some good tree cover, but you will clearly see that more than half of the country is almost headed towards the desert point because of the lack of trees. And of course, the planting of trees would be a major boost to the drought situation in the country. But of course, I'm also joined by my colleague Kamche Menza. The longest speech ever by the president. You remember during his swearing in, the speech was about 30 minutes. During the address to Parliament, I think it lasted for more 25 minutes or so.
Less than that.
This was 1 hour.
Lakini unakumbuka kwamba Kioria mambo mengi amegusia, mambo mengi sana amegusia, mambo mengi, na Wakenya pia, unajua Wakenya wako katika mirengo tofauti. Mirengo kumaanisha kuna sekta tofauti. Kuna nchi ambaye analia economy, kuna pengine kama ni mkulima ambaye analia fertilizer ama mbolea, kuna yule aliyekule Baringo ambaye analilia security, kuna familia ambazo pia watu wao walipotea pia bado wanalilia security. Kwa hivyo Wakenya wako katika sekta tofauti ambazo wanalilia masuala tofauti, na ndio maana nadhani pia leo rais amechukua jukumu hilo la kuzungumza kuanzia mwanzo akagusia sekta tofauti. Kila Mkenya amesikia jambo moja, hata Hustler Fund imegusiwa ambayo huko nje kama alivyosema mama mboga ama watu wa bodaboda wamekuwa kiuliza inakuja nini. Amegusia kujaribu kuelezea kwamba si kwamba ati tumesahau, bado zile ahadi zetu tunazo, lakini kila mmoja akona masuala yake ambayo anataka yagusiwe. Kwa hivyo tumemwona kwamba amejaribu kuzungumzia mambo mengi. Wakulima wameangaziwa sana, ukiangalia mambo na kilimo, mambo na mbolea, bila kitaja ya zile hatua atakazochukua, akisema hii itakuwa ni mbinu ya kwanza ama the short term plan, akakuja kwa middle plan, akakuja pia kwa long term plan. Manake amesema kwamba tunatambua kwamba ukulima ndio sasa backbone ya nchi ya Kenya, na lazima tuirudishe pale ilipokuwa. Kama sasa tunatatizika kwa sababu ya mbolea, pengine mbegu za kupanda na masuala mengine, basi itabidi tuangalie ni mambo gani ambayo tunaweza kuyaangalia tuyapanue katika hali tofauti. Kwa hivyo amezungumzia mambo mengi, wakulima wakiwa wametajwa kwa upana sana. Akarudi mambo ya security pia, akazungumzia watu wa Baringo, banditry, cattle rustling ambazo zinaendelea kule. Akarudi kuangalia kuzungumzia kuhusu mambo ya corruption kama ulivyosema. Akataja mambo ya independence pia ya judiciary ambayo pia inaingilia katika kutoa justice kwa wananchi. Kiingereza Jackie, usukani sasa ni wako.
Well, thank you so much, Kamche Menza and John Jacob Kioria joining us from the Uhuru Gardens in Langata, where the Mashujaa Day celebrations kicked off. I remember they were led by President William Ruto, who was hosting his first National Day celebrations as head of state. And now we shall be crossing over to Uhuru Gardens, where our reporter Irene Muchuma is interacting with residents just to understand how they took President William Ruto's speech. Let's cross over.
We have unga at a good price, so that is my take home.
Thank you so much, Jen. Come here, give me your take, tell me your name, and tell me what you're taking home today from the speeches by the leaders from this end.
Okay, my name is Collins. Today, Mashujaa Day. I'm so delighted to be here. The day has been so good. From the presidential speech, he has talked about a number of things. He has talked about the initiation of the Hustler funds, which I think it will really help the young people. We are really in a very tough economic times, so I want to believe that once that is rolled out, many Kenyans, young people, will be able to benefit. And another thing also that I've really, it's my take home, the president have talked about the plan for planting trees, and that's something which is very good. He has said that anyone who will achieve the target of planting 300 trees by the end of 5 years, he will be given certification. So I think that's the highlight of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Collins. That is Collins, and he's not the only one that I've been able to speak to. We have been able to speak to a number of Kenyans who have been able to be part of this event. It has been a colorful event, Wambiru, and many of those that have been able to talk to appreciate the fact that the government is putting its best foot forward to ensure that we improve the forest cover in the country, and at the end of it, one will be awarded for taking care of the environment. Wambiru, I know there is a lot ahead of us. Over to you, Wambiru.
Well, thank you so much, Irene Muchuma, with reactions from residents on the president's speech. Now we proceed. President William Ruto says it's time Kenyans demonstrate the patriotism of a new age and express the timeless values which unite the nation with its heroes and heroines. Addressing the nation during the Mashujaa Day celebrations at Uhuru Gardens in Nairobi, the head of state said the nation has a duty to respect, uphold and defend the Constitution, and that every Kenyan has a stake in making and keeping Kenya great. The head of state said the moment of action is now, which calls for everyone to exercise all their abilities, talents, gifts, skills and strength in pursuit of the nation as well as self-actualization.
We are endowed with far greater capacity today than ever in our history to pursue and accomplish major feats. Our predecessors, with far modest means, nevertheless scored monumental triumphs. There is absolutely no ceiling to our dreams, no limit to our determination, and no barrier to our collective power. Nothing stops us from becoming what we wish to be, and nothing can stand in the way of our resolve to drive Kenya to its destiny of glory and abundance. I stand here, therefore, on this sacred ground, where we first raised our proud flag at the dawn of freedom, where we made a covenant to honor their glorious triumph and fine example by embracing their values and serving our nation, to rally every Kenyan to rise up. This is our moment to get up, work hard, take our chance, chase our dreams, knock on doors, and explore possibilities, because the horizon of our destiny is draped in the splendor of our vision, and before us lies potential of a magnitude never before imagined. It is all ours for the taking, and I know we are ready, for it is our time. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Mashujaa. May our heroes continue to inspire us, and may our national values ever remain the true north of our moral compass. God bless you, and God bless our great country, Kenya. Asanteni sana.
The construction of Thwake Dam in Makueni County stands at 74% completion. This is, however, a 98.7% delay in time for its completion.
Speaking during an assessment tour of the works by Makueni Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. and the County Commissioner Beverly Oparo, the Thwake Dam project manager David Onyango attributed the delay in the construction to COVID-19 disruptions and the Russian-Ukraine war, which has affected the shipping of explosives used in extraction of rocks.
The dam as at now is 74% complete, and we are at a level where the work that is left compared to where we started is very little, and we hope that we can accelerate this project and finish it sometime next year.
Governor expressed
as impressed me, and I must